Yes, I do have a drink.
Okay.
Yes.
Hey,
Perfect.
cheers, everybody. It's happy
Cheers.
hour. We are here. We
Cheers.
are back. We are hanging out, having a good time. Um, yeah, it's been a week, my friends. It has been a week.
Oh yeah.
There's Ro.
There's Ro.
Bro.
Hey, Ro. Welcome back, buddy.
Hey.
What do you got to drink over there in Chi-Town, bud?
Whatever you want.
What are you drinking right now?
Well, right now, I just have a plain Coca-Cola.
Okay.
We're gonna be doing some driving, but otherwise, probably like a Hawker Shore or a some
Nice.
sort of what kind of drinks do you prefer after a fan convention?
Lots of water. Lots of water.
Lots of
Yeah.
water. Yes.
Lots
yes.
of water.
Yes.
That's
lots
a
of
good
water.
one.
That's a
I
good
don't know
one.
what
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm doing hanging around with reasonable people, but
Eh,
It's fine. Come on over to the East Coast. We'll take care of you.
yeah.
Oh yes.
I usually get in the Negroni after a good convention, though.
Ooh, a Negroni after a good
Yes.
convention.
Ooh, that is nice.
Yeah, so we have a full boat tonight. Faye is back as usual. Leah is here again. And joining us for the first time, we have Mandy. And joining us for the first time from the Scarif Scuttlebutt podcast, we have Ro straight from Chicago at C2E2. He's coming in and out. So if we do lose you, Ro, I apologize for that
Mhm.
in advance. And to the audience, we apologize in advance for that. But it's also happy hour, folks. So, you know, we're getting our drink on. I got destroyed in Lorcana today,
Yep.
so that was fun. Yeah, he jumped. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So that was fun. We got destroyed in Lorcana today. So
Losing
you
is
know.
fun.
Oh yeah.
It was fun.
Yeah.
How far
but
did
I
you
cl-
get?
I went 1-5 because I had a bye.
Ooh. DuckTales
Look.
didn't work, huh?
DuckTales caused
DuckTales did not
chaos, though.
work.
But they caused plenty of chaos.
Oh, good.
Oh
Look,
yeah.
if you're not gonna win, you might as well have fun.
Hey,
Exactly.
Huey, Dewey, and
Seriously.
Louie are known to cause chaos. So
Oh,
it fits.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know what? It
Kind
wasn't
of like the
Huey,
whole
Dewey, and
plot
Louie.
of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they caused a little bit of chaos, but I'll tell you right now, it was Flintheart Glumgold that caused a lot of chaos, and which makes sense. And then
Yes.
Webby
Yeah.
Vanderquack caused a lot of chaos too.
Oh my god.
Yeah, which if you've never seen the episode of DuckTales where they're playing with the Nerf guns and
Oh,
Webby
yes.
is literally pulling Sam Fisher from Splinter Cell, it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing. She's literally taking the boys as hostages. Yeah,
Nice.
yeah. And then Scrooge McDuck caused a lot of chaos, but that's typical for Scrooge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, very much
Um,
so.
Hey Hey did a little bit for me because in the deck there's also Hey Hey and Moana.
Hmm.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah. But I went the distance, haha, pun intended. Because it is a Disney game. I went the distance a little bit. I mean, in most of my games, so they were best
That's
of
good.
threes, and they went 2-1
Mhm.
for most of those games. So, all I'm gonna say is this: if you play in a competitive tournament and the judge asks you to keep track of your score in a certain way, don't argue with the judge.
Never argue with the judge.
Never
That's
argue
your
with
first
the
rule of
judge.
tournaments.
No.
No, I know it's a cool Stitch playmat and it's a cool Stitch card, but it's not worth arguing with the judge for. And
No.
Yeah.
yeah. And also, if you are complaining that people have buys in a round robin or in a Swiss tournament and they're in the top 8, I'm sorry, buys count as wins. Like you can't. Anyway, I'm done.
As someone
talking
who
about it.
regularly runs like sports tournaments, I'm like, I have opinions about people complaining about formats because, like, I was not gonna miss this, or was probably gonna miss this week, except for my event got canceled due to the weather. I was running a tournament this weekend where the format straight up was learn to parry. because we weren't going to be refining any double kills. If you got a double kill, that's both of you lose.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mhm.
And then he was also complaining about draws because sometimes, like, if you didn't, like, a couple of people actually ended in draws, and he was
Yeah.
complaining about that too. And the
Yeah.
judge is like, if they can't complete the game in the allotted time I give them, it's going to a
Yeah.
draw. So
That's how the cookie crumbles.
that is
Yeah.
how the crumble cookies. Yes.
Sorry, it changed your chances of getting a
Stitch
card and a
playmat.
playmat.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anyway, it was fun though. It was,
It was.
I had a good time. I had a good time. Thank God I didn't play that guy because he was also yelling at people for the way they were shuffling their decks.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
God.
You know, this was a good night to wear the lipstick because it shows the disdain on my face better.
That guy needs to go back to Magic or whatever game he came here from.
Oh God.
Yeah.
He probably came from Magic or something. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I used to play Magic, and players were never that bad.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Maybe Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah. Maybe Yu-Gi-Oh. Yeah.
Maybe Yu-Gi-Oh.
Actually, that's a good
Yeah.
guess.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
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 Depends. Was he wearing? No, that's mean.
No. He was not wearing an Illuminati
Oh, I was gonna ask if he was
triangle.
wearing. I was gonna ask if he was wearing deodorant.
Ooh.
So I only faced one stinky opponent that was not wearing deodorant. That's all I'm gonna say.
The G&T is already getting to my head. Oh no.
I mean, I'm drinking some High Noon vodka soda, so we're good.
I may have made this GT a double. Just a warning.
Oh, good.
Why not? It's gonna be a
I am
long night.
drinking a homebrew mead that is made with
Ooh.
champagne yeast, so it's very
Ah.
alcoholic.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that.
We haven't even talked about what we're talking
Oh.
about tonight.
No, we haven't. No.
No, we haven't.
Boy, am I
We're
happy to
already
introduce
off
the topic for tonight. T. Kingfisher's horror novel.
All right, Leah, I'm removing you. Anyway, just one quick announcement. No live show next week, as my wife and I are going to be out of town doing some May 4th events. Which
I was gonna say
we
we're all
are
gonna be
getting to.
busy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that day's gonna be busy. Yeah.
Which we are going to be getting to here very, very shortly. So, yeah, let's get into a couple of quick pieces of news. And then we'll jump into our main topics, which will be May 4th, Free Comic Book Day, Phantom Menace 25th anniversary.
Mhm.
And then we are going back and revisiting Light of the Jedi as our main topic as we kick off our road to the Acolyte. So,
Ooh.
yes, the Acolyte is finally around the corner. So, real quick, the only piece of news that I have right now is Disney related as usual, and that is that hold on. Ro messaged me real quick.
Okay.
Okay.
We have a bad connection. Just tell your viewers that we had a lot of fun. There were some great panels. They saw Christopher Lloyd and the cast of Rebels. It was a lot of fun. If you've never gone to a fan convention, we highly recommend it.
Awesome.
Yes. Thank you for trying to stop by, for trying to join us. There we go. All right. So Pixar Fest has started in Leah's backyard.
Yeah.
Yeah. At Disneyland. And there you can meet Luca and Alberto from Luca, which if you've never seen that Pixar movie, please do yourself a favor and see that movie. It's a beautiful movie.
Mhm.
It is. Yep.
It's an absolutely beautiful movie, and it's a beautiful one about friendship. And then let's see here. Oh, May and her friends from Turning Red are in the Pixar Pals parade, and and her dad is there, and Four Town is on the float as well. Everybody's favorite boy band with the lead singer, Robert. That's how you have to say it. You have to say
Yeah.
Robert. Yeah, that's all I got for that. So May 4th is around the corner here, everybody, and is there anything going on that day?
I don't think so. Nothing important. Nothing big. I mean, like it's maybe Free Comic Book Day.
Yeah.
Maybe Star Wars Day.
Yeah,
Maybe Star Wars Day. Phantom Menace in theaters, maybe.
Phantom Menace in theaters.
Maybe. Yeah.
I think there's a new series of shorts about like I don't know, a couple characters who people have been really clamoring for more stories about them.
Yeah.
So the Acolyte is not coming out on May 4th. Acolyte is actually going to be June 4th. But hi, John. Welcome to the show. Yeah, so the Acolyte is June 4th, but that will be 1 month away as of that day.
Yeah.
The 1 month countdown.
Yes,
1 month.
which we're not excited for the Acolyte at all.
It'll be the 1 month countdown, and we'll be getting a first look at it, or a new look at it.
That's
For
right.
anyone who is able to see Phantom Menace in theaters, which I think I got me and my girlfriend's tickets the day that they went up for sale.
I will probably be putting on some funny clothes and either going to see the Phantom Menace or down in Grapevine near me, there's going to be a whole watch of the original trilogy. So that'll be fun to do too.
That's true. There's also that. There's also the Star Wars marathon that's in theaters on the 4th. All 9. At least it's not all 11. That would be a lot.
Actually,
You know what? If you're doing all 11, you've got to include the Clone Wars movie. And if you're doing all that, you might as we were being sarcastic about not being excited about the Acolyte. We are so excited for the Acolyte. But if you're going to include all 11 of the live action canon movies and you're going to include the Clone Wars movie, you've got to also include both Ewok movies and the holiday special.
Oh God, the holiday special.
Look, I am coming out as a holiday special enjoyer. I watch it unironically for fun regularly.
I gotta admit, the best part is the cooking show part with the swish swish. You know,
I have been considering a Gourmanda cosplay for years.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yes.
Stir, whip, stir, beat.
Thank you, John, for bringing up the Backstroke of the West, which is objectively the funniest way to watch Revenge of the Sith.
Fun fact, Backstroke of the West, first Star Wars movie that my girlfriend ever saw.
Wow.
It's okay.
And then she read the Dr. Aphra comics.
A friend of mine has only seen the holiday special, and they've asked me if they should watch anything else, and I said, no, it's funnier if you only see the holiday special.
Funnier if you only see the holiday special.
So I'm trying to get into Star Wars. Where would you recommend? Have you heard of the holiday special? And I don't mean the Lego one.
Don't mean the
Eventually, I'm
very.
going to ask them why it's only the holiday special that they've seen, but it's funniest if it stays that way.
Anyway, May the 4th. Let's actually go through seriously what's all coming out. So it's Free Comic Book Day, and there are not one but 2 Star Wars comics.
And one of them is High Republic Adventures.
Yes. It's the Young Jedi
from Dark
Adventures.
Horse.
And then the cover for the Star Wars Run Free Comic Book Day special is like gorgeous. It's a Luke and Vader cover with them split apart by lightsabers. I like it.
Oh yeah,
it's classic. It's Star Wars.
And
I'm looking forward to that one. I will admit I am much more excited to see Court and Nubs interacting.
Our two special boys. Our two
special boys.
Our two blue boys.
Our two blue boys.
Blue
well,
boys, yeah.
technically, there's three blue boys because of buckets.
Our blue boys who barely speak basic.
Okay.
There we go.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which we actually watched. My wife and I watched more of the Young Jedi Adventures yesterday before we went to Star Wars trivia, which I'll tell you how we did in a little bit. Some of the questions were tough. Some of the questions were really tough. But anyway, so we have those. And usually with the free comic book day comics, they're not like full stories. We get like maybe 4 or 5 pages of a main story, and then we'll get some other stuff. I remember last year's Leah, you and I talked about it last year. It was the Fall of Starlight with
it was the
Lula.
Starlight Coda with Lula and Crix.
Yeah.
Why did you have to remind me of that?
I don't know why I was so sad about that. I blacked out after I saw Farzala's head resting in Ishnar's lap, and
you are the captain of that ship. Let's be real.
I named the ship. Yeah. If I had a nickel for every High Republic ship that I named, I could probably buy a candy bar.
Oh, I was going to say, Mike Siglain needs to talk to you about creative.
Yeah.
Ishnar Zala, Air Pair.
Air Pair.
Air Pair is probably my favorite one.
So, and then with the Marvel Star Wars one, we're gonna get a glimpse into the future story of what's coming in the mainline comic. I don't think we have much left in that mainline series before we get to Jedi.
No. Based on what we've seen from like solicits and specifically from the collection solicits, it seems like it's getting really close to the end. It's probably going to end around issue 50.
Yeah, that would make sense.
So we're getting close to Return of the Jedi. I'm so curious for what they do next.
Oh, me too, because I want to... Okay, real quick, from that, I want a comic about the liberation of Coruscant. Like, I want to see that happen.
Yes. Ooh, that would be very cool.
That would be so good.
Because if you're going to do it, you can do that. Well, you can lead up to the Battle of Jakku and have do a big Battle of Jakku event.
Ooh.
Like in that series post Jedi, and then after Jakku, you hit us with the liberation of Coruscant.
Oh yeah.
I mean, yeah. I guess most of there's like bits and pieces of those characters in that year between Return of the Jedi and Jakku.
Yeah.
We see Leia and Han and Luke in the games. We see Leia and Han obviously in Princess and the Scoundrel, but also they pop up in Aftermath. But I think there's enough room that you could tell some good stories in that year still.
I think so too.
My heart yearns to return to the sequel era.
Oh, me too.
It's been a bit since we've had like a flagship anything in that era.
And like
I would also
the more I read the sequel era, the more I'm just like, we need to see more.
Right. Like I want more context. I want more information. I want more everything.
Yeah.
So one thing that you could do, relaunch the Poe comic after episode 9.
Yeah.
And
I think they're leaving after episode 9 until we get the Rey movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I think too.
That's valid.
We're not going to see.
They might do it as like a road to the new Jedi Order, like they did for the release of
The Force Awakens.
Yeah. But you could easily, it's been confirmed that Rogue Squadron is still happening. But you could easily do a Poe Dameron Rogue Squadron comic.
Oh yeah.
Post episode 9.
Like Poe Dameron and what remains of Black Squadron sweeping up the what remains of the First Order.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
I would read this. I would read the heck out of
would
that.
read that,
because my thing is that you're going to have a new threat in the Rey movie. It's either going to be the remnants of the First Order or it's going to be the Grisk, and we have a feeling it could be. And honestly, what you could do is you could have the Grisk start to pop up in that Poe Dameron comic to lay the foundation for the Rey movie.
I know, especially because I would like to see if my madman theory that the Grisk were kind of behind the First Order is correct.
So there's
Yuuzhan Vong.
I think the Grisk have kind of taken the place of the Yuuzhan Vong. To
Yeah.
here's
they're still as kind of existentially terrifying.
Regarding the Grisk and the First Order, the Thrawn Alliance's comic was our first like visual depiction of the Grisk, and they kind of look like the First Order Stormtrooper helmets. Like that's kind of what their faces look like.
Yeah.
Mandy, weigh in. Words?
I'm sorry. My introvertedness is coming through. No,
you're good.
Personally, I was a huge fan of the new Jedi Order books. I read them like crazy when I was young in middle school. So I would love to see the Yuuzhan Vong brought into new canon, but I don't think it's going to happen. But would I personally love it? Yeah, that would be a really cool villain for Jedi to go up against.
Yeah.
But I don't think we'll see it, but it would be really cool to see.
I think a lot of people would love to see the Yuuzhan Vong come in.
Which is so funny because they were so contentious.
Oh, yeah.
When they first came.
They were. Like, it was split like 50-50 in the fandom because I remember...
I don't even know if it was that much in favor of them.
It was more like
I don't know. I mean...
I was going to say...
I remember the Star Wars forums. It was like
see, as the resident Abeloth fan, I'm the one saying that she was 50-50. But I mean, I could also totally see them having like a smaller, very Jedi focused antagonist for the Rey New Jedi Order movie.
Yeah.
We'll see. It's still a ways out. We're supposed to be talking about May the 4th, which is
so
much closer.
So May the 4th is happening. And yes, Free Comic Book Day is happening. We are getting
Free Comic Book Day.
Yes.
We're getting 2. They're both looking very exciting.
Yes.
We're also getting Tales of the Empire.
We are getting Tales of the Empire, which came out of nowhere with that announcement. Even though Filoni teased it. Filoni did tease that Tales of the Jedi was getting a second season.
Yeah. I'm very excited that, as someone who loves Mary Allen's, we get more of Varys.
I do love a good Mary Allen.
I do love
even more than a good Mary Allen. I love a morally gray Mary Allen. That's why I love Sinara San so much in Resistance.
Yeah.
Which I will say this: I am happy that we've gotten Mary Allen's in Bad Batch too. Like, I'm really, really happy that we've gotten that.
I think it's great that Mary Allens have become one of the background species, like, just across Star Wars.
You know how easy it is to just paint yourself green and put some lines?
It doesn't even have to be green.
Gee.
They can be pink. They can be yellow. They can be red. They can be blue.
Gee,
we
Faye,
really only see
you like
green,
Mary
yellow,
Allen's?
Huh?
I was like, gee, hey, you like Mary Allen's? What?
I know that there was a couple blue Mary Allens in Jedi Survivor, which is what I was thinking of.
There was.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
There was.
But
wasn't there a pink one too?
Yes, Sinara San.
Yeah. And
she's like pinkish purplish, which is why we usually count it under the purple. I have.
She's got a tan.
She does have a tan. So we're getting Tales of the Empire, which is going to be awesome, really exciting, super excited about that. Barriss Offree's coming back. We get to see her be trained as an Inquisitor, which is going to be really interesting.
And hopefully defect from that.
Hopefully.
Please.
Please.
Well, you don't want to see her stay evil? Come on.
I don't want to see her stay
That's
evil.
more fun.
Sorry.
It's more fun.
No, she's gonna redeem herself, and then that's how she's
Look,
gonna bite the bullet.
It's like how Tales of the Jedi had like one character who went on to very much still embody the Jedi, and one who went on to directly defy the Jedi.
Mhm.
Maybe this one is one who goes on to continue to uphold the Empire, Morgan Elsbeth, and one who goes on to defy them.
Yes.
Maybe,
John, you're not interrupting.
You're not.
We have the
It's
we have
really
the
nice to
chat
have
for you.
chat
Yeah, we have
Yeah.
the chat so that you can interact. But I like the idea
Future
that
Tales.
yeah.
Ooh.
Future Tales. Okay, I'm
I
gonna
got
throw
mine
this out.
already. I got mine already.
I'm gonna
I've got
throw
one
this
too.
out. High Republic.
Okay.
Oh, you could have like the
one ahead of you.
firebrands.
I'm
That's a
one
good one.
ahead. I'm
That's
one
a good
ahead
one.
of you. High Republic. A mission with Yora Mali and Skier. One of the times that Yora Mali's life was saved by Skier, so we get the origins of the friendship.
That would be pretty interesting.
You have
That's really good.
Yora and Skier, and then the other 3 shorts are the firebrands.
Correct.
Salandra and Rupert Pathfinder team.
Oh,
Ooh.
Rupert. You could have Rupert, Das, and Sky Pathfinder team.
I can definitely see like Tales of the Old Republic at
Tales of the Old
especially
Republic would be
That-
I
that's-
really
that's
want
your way.
a Tales of the Sith, like just
Tales
of the
like
Sith?
legends and stuff. So
Yeah.
that would be
Because
really cool.
they're
Yeah.
peppering in more new Sith.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We've gotten from the summary of what's it called? Tears of the Nameless.
Yeah.
That they're going to be investigating a Sith Lord's
Mhm.
like history. So we're getting more Sith names in canon. So that could definitely be good.
Yeah.
So
Old Republic is coming out after that. We have some more Old Republic books.
Tales of the
Tales
Chiss
of
would
the
be amazing.
Chiss.
Yeah.
Obviously,
Tales of
I
the
like that
Mandalorians too. I see here. That would be cool. Mandalorian history.
The one that got
Ooh.
me that John, the Cantina. Like, give me
Yeah.
all of the
Oh, yeah.
cantinas.
Oh my God.
Cantina, Oga's Cantina.
I know.
all of
Pyloon's
them.
Saloon.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Big thought. It would be really fun if we somehow got Stevie Palp's canon.
Oh my God! Yes.
I will provide the voice of Stevie Palps
I
if Filoni
know.
wants to call me.
My thought was much less exciting, which was Tales of the Resistance.
Oh, I would love that.
Oh,
I just-
Ooh.
I would like putting to visual media, like pick a couple of the like names that we know in the Resistance and like put
Tales
them
of
on
the
screen.
Musician.
Give them some shorts.
yeah.
I mean,
Tales of the Musician.
Oh,
Ooh, Max Rebo. Yes.
oh no,
How
we
do-
need the band from Visions in that one.
we do need
Star
to-
Waver?
Yeah.
Max Rebo, there's a really good comic about him turning in his
The Max
brother.
Rebo the Max Rebo Return of the
One-shot?
Jedi one shot was so, and I can't believe that is how we got the first comics appearance of oh my gosh, what's her name?
Sice Noodles.
No,
Oh.
the Twi'lek who runs Sanctuary from Book of Boba Fett.
Oh God.
Garza.
I just
Garza.
Garza
Yeah,
Fwip,
Garza.
thank you so much.
Yeah.
You're
I
a
was
lifesaver.
I was just thinking Flashdance. Like that's all I was thinking.
Flash.
Yes, I can't believe that one shot is how we got the first comic appearance of Garza Fwip.
I
So
think it's perfect.
going back to the Resistance one, like Vi Marati would be a perfect character to do.
Yeah,
shit with.
tell us
Yes.
about some of her missions before setting up the base on Batu.
Mhm.
tell us about what she does after Batu, because she has to leave at some point. Claude, yes,
Claude.
3 Claude episodes,
Yes.
please. Honestly, please.
I would also love Bulio in those episodes too.
Yeah.
Like he would be great too.
What about the character that Dominic Monaghan played?
Oh, he's in Shadow of the Sith actually.
Oh, cool. I was
Also-
thinking that would be cool to have a short of him or something.
Yeah.
I appreciate just wanting the something more with the gay couple in Rise of Skywalker. However, we saw how that worked out with the last.
Larma Daisy and Roby Tice.
Yeah.
Like I think
my point of lesbian pride is always naming them when someone talks about them.
Good.
I would also say like some more Snap stories would be cool because like you could do
to see more of Snap.
era.
But seeing more of Snap would make it even sadder when I rewatch.
I know.
The Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just gotta watch your favorite character die over and over and over again.
I am actually. So Greg Grunberg is actually going to be at a con near me this summer, and I actually got press passes to it. So I'm going to try to meet Greg Grunberg and be like, "Sorry you died. Can you sign my book?"
Sorry you died.
That's gonna be me at Dragon Con with as many of my favorite characters.
Did you die?
I'm sorry you died. Can you sign
I'm sorry. You were my favorite character until you bit it.
But it's not even just that he dies, it's that then his dad shows up like not 2 minutes later.
Yeah. It would have been cool to get that reunion before like he died.
Yeah.
I'm glad that they retroactively gave us the reunion in Resistance Reborn.
Yeah. Tales of the First Order. Yeah, Tales of the First Order would be pretty
Tales
cool.
of the First Order would be solid.
Would
Tales
love to
of
see
the
more Neil
Droids.
Cardinal.
Separatists. I love
Captain Cardinal, yes.
Yeah, see more Cardinal, yeah.
I like Mina Monteri. I would like to see more of her as well.
Tales of the Separatists. Corky.
Yeah. Corky, yeah.
I know. We talked about him last week.
I don't want to see him come up again because I don't want to see the theory disproven. I'm fine with him being an enigma. Most likely dead enigma.
So Tales of the First Order, everyone immediately went to Cardinal, which is great. I love Cardinal. My immediate thought was Pyre or Tierney, but maybe that's just my Resistance brain thinking.
No, Pyre would be amazing.
Or Von Rag, if we're talking Resistance characters.
Von Rag?
Yeah.
Yes. With that red TIE fighter? Yeah.
Yes.
Because you could do that whole like Red Baron story.
Exactly. Like show like him being like the top pilot, the number one, and then he gets wrecked by some junk starfighters on a backwater planet.
See,
yeah, give him a
Lucasfilm,
crisis.
we will write these shows for you. You give us the time. We will do this.
And it's not like we're even calling out the most obscure characters. Like, I guess the most obscure ones were the Tales of the High Republic ideas that we had. But everyone knows who Claude. Everyone recognizes Claude.
Yeah. But I would also say, like, going back to Tales of the Jedi, I would love like more Qui-Gon stories too.
Yeah.
Qui-Gon and Dooku together would be great. More stories.
Well, I mean, we did get that, but I would love to see more stories with both of them because you can adapt all of Dooku
Qui-Gon I'd like to see Qui-Gon like post knighting pre Obi-Wan.
Oh,
yeah.
Because there was a pretty solid gap of time in there.
There is. There really is.
He wasn't one of those Jedi who immediately jumped to having a Padawan.
No. So technically, at that point, Qui-Gon was a way seeker, kind of.
Basically, he was like a way seeker in all but name.
They weren't a practice at that point in time, but Quinlan never gets enough screen time.
Kaz's dad, no. We already got enough of him in the Ahsoka show. Sorry, Faye, go ahead.
Yeah, Quinlan doesn't get enough screen time, and like we only really have one book with him. We really just don't see enough of Quinlan Voss. I think that's a crime because whenever I was comparing prequel era Jedi to like different people in my friend group, and I called my friend. I was like, I referred to my friend as Quinlan Voss, and they were offended. Like, you're calling the ace person the person who I only know as he fucks. There's more to that, but like, so I need more Quinlan stuff so I can just.
Yeah, there's not much Quinlan in canon.
No,
not in canon. No.
We need to get
There's
more Quinlan
one
Voss.
comic issue that focuses on him. There's one book.
Yeah.
And there's one episode of the Clone Wars.
And he's referenced in Kenobi one time. So.
He is referenced in Kenobi because they are besties. They really are besties.
They are really are besties. Especially in the old comics, they really are.
Yeah.
Tired.
We need so much more Quinlan.
John, yes, we know. He only appears in one Clone Wars episode. We know. It's an outrage. Quinlan. He's he's in that trilogy where they're trying to find Zero the Hutt. He's like in
You're right. He but there's only one episode that like focuses on him.
There's only one episode that focuses on him, but I think he makes an appearance in a few others.
Yeah, he makes a couple appearances.
He has a kind of like blink and you miss it appearance in one of the prequels.
And he's mentioned
he's in Phantom
Revenge of the Sith because Obi-Wan mentions that General Voss's troops are doing well on some planet or something like that.
Speaking of Tales of the Hidden Path, that would be great. All of those Hidden Path members, because like you could even like do post Kenobi with like Haja Estri helping out and like a few others. Like that would be really interesting.
Honestly, it would be fun to see the Hidden Path as like a TV show.
Absolutely, like
it just can be episodic in nature super easily.
Like you could do it as an event series, like an 8-episode event series. Yeah. Hidden Path can star Voss. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
Yeah. So I'm gonna pitch one more here, and then we're gonna get back to more May the 4th shenanigans and or goings on. I would love if they did like tales of like various starship crews, and like one season you could do the Stinger Mantis with like Grease and Seer and Cal, and like do that gap that bridges Battle Scars and and the Jedi games.
Yeah,
that would be really cool. Yeah,
I'm now thinking of that, but with my starship's crew, and I'm just going, yes, a disaster.
A disaster.
It would be a soap opera on the levels of X-Men 97.
Yeah,
very much so. Yeah.
Yeah.
To be fair, so would the Stinger Mantis crew.
High Republic crew with Geode. Yes.
Oh my god, the vessel.
The vessel crew. The vessel.
And you know what? With those, you wouldn't have to make those super serious. Like they could just be putzing around. It would kind of be like Star Trek, where they just like encounter stuff, just like on a whim.
What happens to them?
You know what though?
Like it really is. It really does seem like until Phase 1 of the High Republic, Leox and Geode were literally just the away team for a Star Trek show. They were like, yeah, we're worshipped as gods on one planet, and
it's you know how I referred to several characters just like stumbling across Jedi. They stumble across adventures and don't like. They are protagonists in the way that they have the plot happen to them.
It kind of reminds me of the old Cars Mater shorts that they have, like where Mater's like, if I'm lying, I'm dying, or if I'm lying, I'm crying. Like you could easily do that, where it's like Leox is telling the story, and then like Geode just randomly shows up in the story as like the Lightning McQueen-esque character.
Exactly.
Yeah. My wife was saying more Kit Fisto and Plo Koon, and a young Mace Windu Tales of the Jedi would be really interesting.
That would be really cool, yeah.
That really would be good.
Yeah, they are established Jedi, and we don't really know much about them. And Kit Fisto, you could have Phil Lamar come back to do the voice of Kit Fisto, which
Oh
would be
yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah.
So, what are we doing for May 4th? I'll start with Mandy, and then I'll go to Faye, then Leah, and then I'll weigh in.
Yeah, so my local comic book store here in the Tampa Bay area, Yancey Street Comics, they're doing a free comic book day. So I'll be going there, and they're also doing a May the 4th sale. So I will probably
Nice.
spend too much money on comics, but I need more
Star
comics.
Wars Unlimited.
Obviously.
Yes, I need some stuff. Like I need it. Yeah, so I'm going to that event that starts at 11 o'clock Eastern my time, and it's pretty much throughout the day. So I'll be going there. They're having some local artists as well as some comic book artists that are attending. So hoping to maybe pick up a Wolverine sketch or something like that because I need a Wolverine sketch. I don't have one.
Yeah.
And he is my favorite X-Men character. I've been an X-Men fan since I was really little because of the animated series, actually. So, yeah, so I'm going to go to that. And then probably in the evening, I'll probably put on some Star Wars to celebrate. So.
Nice.
That's good.
Who did I say was next? Faye?
It was me.
Okay.
So I'm probably actually going to be putting on some Star Wars costume and going to the Star Wars marathon down in Grapevine.
Good luck.
Good luck.
You know, it's gonna be good. And you know what? I've already proven I can wear body paint in summer in Arizona while wearing wool, so I'll be fine.
You are truly the strongest.
Yes.
I set my body paint and I don't sweat.
Nice. Very nicely done. Leah.
Sorry, my girlfriend came bearing
Leah's
boba.
Girlfriend. Hi.
Hi.
Say hi. So my local comic shop is also doing they're doing their normal free comic book day stuff, which I just like to call out because I really love how they do it.
Front and center.
They always turn their free comic book day into like a whole event with like the whole area around them. So they have a like treasure hunt thing with a bunch of the businesses around them.
Very cool.
So there's certain like free comic books that you can only get if you go to these other stores around them. It's not it intertwines the community, it drives business to these small businesses. One of them is like my favorite coffee shop, and the other one is like where I get all of the meat that I eat, the butcher shop there. So like I'm looking forward to that. But they're also having like Star Wars posters giveaway. And this is unrelated to Star Wars, but I just want to call this out because I really like this comic and these creators. They have the whole creative team of Magma Comics Principles of Necromancy.
Cool.
Oh.
Very cool.
Oh, that's good.
Cool.
So they have Jackson Lansing, Colin Kelly, Eamon Winkle, and Derek Robertson are all going to be there.
Lansing
and they have an exclusive... Lansing and Kelly. So they're all going to be there. The Hive Mind and then the two artists.
Wow.
So I'm really looking forward to that. I already got to like meet all of them, see all of them at like LA Comic-Con and stuff, but I really like what they write. I'm loving their Star Trek work. I'm loving Principles of Necromancy. Can't recommend Principles of Necromancy highly enough to anyone who wants like body horror, that kind of thing. Dark fantasy, that sort of comic experience. Magma Comics in general, all of their runs that have started, or their runs that have started thus far, and the one that's coming up that I saw the preview for, Scale Trade, They're all great.
Yeah.
Highly recommend.
Nice.
Give money to creator-owned comics.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, so I'm really looking forward to that. That's kind of my big thing for May the 4th, since we're doing Phantom Menace on the 3rd.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to get right in there.
Also, apparently, since there's the marathon during the day, there's also starting at 6 p.m. locally a Star Wars bar crawl. So that might end up happening.
Let's just hope Mary Allen's hold their liquor. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, let's hope.
Ooh, can Mary Allen's hold their liquor? Is there any? I would think Sinara can, but I don't think she's indicative of the entire.
You know, that's the real question to ask for next
I don't
time.
think Vernestra could hold her liquor.
Oh, she's a lightweight when it comes to that.
Vernestra would see Wreath drinking and would be like, why?
Wreath will be like, all the cool kids are doing it, Vernestra, why don't you?
Vernestra is the type of Padawan, though, who I can definitely see doing what I did in high school and give herself a heart condition from drinking too much caf.
Oh my god. She would.
Vernestra's room probably looks like a NORAD command console with just cups of calf just all over.
Exactly.
This has just made me think about that how Tears of the Nameless is just the underage drinking brothers and the underage drinking brothers and scary Uncle Aslan.
It's the underage drinking brothers that are hanging out with their uncle, like you said, and the uncle's like, "You want a beer? As long as you don't tell your parents, you can have a beer."
I don't think Aslan would do that. I think Aslan would say, "You want an entire handle of vodka? As long as you don't tell your parents."
Yeah.
Okay.
It'll unlock your secret powers.
What parents could they tell on for Wreath?
You're so right, because Jorah's gone, and so is Comac.
Oh, God.
Comac is in the woods.
Speaking of Jorah, didn't we have another thing we wanted to talk about?
Her death.
I don't know if I want to get to her death. Well, in a little bit.
Happy Hour was a mistake.
Happy Hour was. I'm sorry. Yeah. So for us, we are seeing Phantom Menace on Friday. We've got like a 10:30 a.m. showing because the theater was wide open. And then we are driving down to my old stomping grounds for the weekend because our Star Wars costuming group got invited to the minor league baseball team that I grew up watching when I was living in my area. They're doing Star Wars night on May 4th and Star Wars fireworks. So we're going to be, so we're going to be doing the costuming for that. Hoping for a really good turnout because it is Star Wars night. However, I don't know if there's going to be a good turnout because this team has only won 3 games so far this season. Yeah. But I'm hoping it's a great turnout because of Star Wars and people's love of Star Wars and all that fun stuff. So, so we're doing that. We're going to hit up a couple of free comic book days or one free comic book day because I definitely want to pick up the High Republic adventures because I need to see my Blue Boys. Yeah. And then I wish some places are doing Star Wars Unlimited tournaments and I wish I could play in those, but yeah, can't do that. But really excited to spend the day before May 4th watching one of my favorite Star Wars movies because that was like
same. It's I like Star Wars politics a whole lot. We all know this. And it's a political drama.
It really is. Well, that whole entire trilogy is one political drama.
That whole trilogy is,
yeah.
Plus, that was after seeing the special editions in theaters. Like that was my first like exposure to seeing a Star Wars movie like on the big screen for like the first time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. like I said, my dad took me to see the special editions in '97, but like when Phantom Menace came out in '99, like that was like my first theatrical Star Wars, I guess you could say.
Yeah, the first time seeing it, actually,
Yeah.
you know, like, because I saw the special editions too, and yeah, I had watched them at home on VHS, and it was great to see it on the big screen, but to see a Star Wars I'd never seen before on the big screen, like with the Phantom Menace, it was just so magical.
And
the way that it worked out for me was I saw Revenge of the Sith first in theaters.
But that's awesome, though.
That's still awesome. That's
awesome.
the best of the prequel trilogy. I mean, in my opinion.
Yeah,
But
I mean, I love all three. I've always been
me too. Yeah,
a prequel trilogy
big prequel
lover
fan,
and enthusiast because even before Clone Wars, just because they were fun movies. They were a little ridiculous. They were a little over the top.
The lightsaber battles were awesome in every one. You know, it was something different. You know,
and how can you not like? I mean, the pod race scene alone is worth the price of admission.
The Darth Maul lightsaber battle is worth the price of admission.
Well,
I remember being glued to that in the theater. You know?
My gosh. And like Padme's costumes and Queen Amidala's costumes were like
were stunning.
As a young person who likes clothes, I was like, gimme.
And hearing that John Williams soundtrack in surround sound and Duel of the Fates and just like the whole like the celebration song at the end on Naboo that's secretly the Emperor's theme the entire time is so good.
And how we see bits of the Imperial March and throughout the Clone Wars is
Okay, so during Star Wars trivia, I'm going to ask you a question now. During Star Wars trivia, my wife and I went with two of our friends, and we were talking about Attack of the Clones.
Okay.
And did you know members of a famous boy band cameo in that movie?
Oh yeah.
And,
they were cut, weren't they?
No, they actually get blown up. I think they are cut. They are cut. They are cut from the. Yeah, they are cut. But they did get blown up.
They do get blown up. Okay.
Yes, and it's two members of NSYNC.
Yes, NSYNC. Yep.
Yes, it was JC and Chris Kirkpatrick.
Do they get blown up when Zam's shuttle crashes? Is that when it was?
No, they get blown up in the Geonosian arena.
Oh, do they? Oh my god. Okay, I didn't know that.
No, they get blown up during that whole brouhaha.
See, I thought they were in.
I think it would have been funnier if they kept it in.
Oh, I think it would have been great just to see their faces.
That would have been hilarious.
And then
just
for them
see
to
their
give
faces.
them a Wilhelm scream.
Yes, a Wilhelm scream.
Yeah, they all knew it.
Yeah.
Why do I not know this?
I don't know why you didn't know this.
27 years later,
It's been 22 years since Attack of the Clones. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I was 2 when that movie came out, and I know this.
Faye.
It's my job.
Don't make me feel old.
It's my job.
It makes me feel old too.
She was 2 when that movie came out.
Wait a minute.
Or they were 2. I'm sorry.
Which movie are we talking about now?
Attack of
the Clones.
I'm sorry, Faye. I didn't mean to.
2 years old.
Yeah, you were 2.
My job.
I feel old.
I'm in the same boat.
Leah, how old were you?
I let's just say I didn't exist when Phantom Menace came out. I existed, but I was not existing. I was not existing externally to another person's body when Phantom Menace came out.
You're so young.
I will say, Revenge of the Sith is the first movie that I remember seeing in theaters.
No, that's cool.
I'm old enough to remember that.
So,
Same.
And Phantom Menace is the first movie I remember seeing, period.
Yeah.
So
I still have the VHS. That is the first movie I remember watching.
Yeah.
Oh God, I miss VHS. Go ahead.
So how old were you with Attack of the Clones?
When Attack of the Clones came out, I was 15.
Okay, I was 13.
Yeah, I was 15
I
when
was
Attack of the
13.
Clones came out,
Okay.
and then Sith came out in 5.
I was in high school with Sith.
Yeah, I graduated when Sith came out.
Okay.
And
was in
saw
high
that
school.
movie 5 times that summer.
Oh, me too.
I kept going to the theater to see
I
Revenge
remember
of the Sith.
using all the money I got from babysitting jobs to buy tickets all the time.
So, real fun fact, the guy that was my best man at my wedding, we became best friends in high school and everything. I dragged his ass to Revenge of the Sith. And that was the first Star Wars movie he had ever seen. And he's like, I liked it until until Anakin became the bad guy. I was like, oh,
honey,
the
you got a
message
big
on
storm
this
coming.
I was like, the message is just lost on you right now, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just lost.
And he's like, why'd you take me to that one? Why did you show me another one? I was like, I thought you had seen them. I love you, Dave. If you're watching, I love you, bud. Thanks for coming to my Star Wars themed wedding. I bought him a Star Wars t-shirt as a gift for being the best man. He's like, I guess I'll wear this.
I guess I'll wear this.
He wore it to the bachelor party. He's like, I have no idea who these characters are, but I'll wear this. I was like, okay.
Oh my God.
Oh.
I love a supportive friend.
Oh, me too.
I love a supportive friend. That's definitely better than us. My sister and I surprised my brother and his husband with all of the wedding party wearing matching Hawaiian shirts with their faces on it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, we went out to the bars like that.
Was it okay? Real quick, and then we'll get to a couple of other topics. Were they like palm trees with the faces?
So it was the palm leaves with the faces like superimposed on it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
oh, so good.
I still have it.
So good.
So one of the next times we go live, you have to wear that.
I wore a medieval dress last week. That's a dare.
Oh, I'm triple dog daring you. The next time we go live, that you're able to join us. You got to wear it.
I will.
Okay. All right. So let's move on here. And then we'll get to our main topic, because this next thing kind of deals with the main topic.
Oh
yes.
And that is it's been 1 year since one of my absolute favorite games came out, and that's Jedi Survivor.
Jedi Survivor, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I played that thing at midnight when it launched. I think it was midnight.
I came home straight from work to play it, and then I did that for the next several days after that.
I still have not played it, but we know my thing with video games. I don't play them very quickly or often.
Very
However,
fair.
That's fair.
Very
That
fair.
fair.
Yep.
I wanted to understand the memes, so I read Battlestars.
Yeah. I want to say this about Jedi Survivor. Leah, you and I talked about this game a lot.
We did.
This game has such a special place in my heart. Like, I love this game so
Yeah.
damn much.
Yeah.
And it's not just because of the High Republic being heavily involved in it.
But that certainly helps.
It does. It's just this Cal's story is so good between this game and Battle Scars and Fallen Order, and the character, the rest of the crew, the Stinger Mantis, like
the development is just
they're so good. And if there's anything like more found family in Star Wars, it's these games, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Leah, I'll get your thoughts. Mandy, I'll get your thoughts, and then Faye, I'll get your thoughts because you read Battle Scars.
Yeah.
So, Leah, go ahead.
I've actually been replaying it recently. I haven't gotten in very far because I like to do kind of all of the things as I'm going through the different maps and stuff. Because that's just how I like to play these games.
Yeah.
But like, so I had just replayed Fallen Order. I'm pointing over there because I played it on console versus Fallen versus Survivor, which I played on my computer.
Yeah.
And like, I love Fallen Order. Fallen Order is what, like, between Fallen Order and then season 7 of the Clone Wars and then High Republic, like, that is what made me the bonkers off the wall Star Wars fan I am now. But like I really feel like Survivor, they went back and they're like, okay, what worked about like the game system, the fighting system, the controls, what worked about the story and what didn't, and then like fixed the things that didn't work. Like the fighting feels so much more streamlined in Survivor. The Force feels like better integrated into your abilities, which makes sense. Yeah. Cal's had these powers back for longer. He's able to integrate them into what he's doing better. But just, like, the longer I sit with the story that we got in Survivor, the more I'm like, this works so well. It's so good. Yeah, it also features one of my favorite single move, like one of my favorite things in any cutscene in any Star Wars game, in any video game, period. And it also features in the same thing, one of my favorite fights. Faye, how much do you care about spoilers?
Oh, none. I actively seek them out.
Cool. So in the Cere Junda Darth Vader fight on Jedha, there's a moment, there's like a cutscene moment where Cere and Vader, they're just standing there. Their lightsabers are right next to each other. Not in contact, not swinging. They're just kind of sizing each other up. And so I'm looking at this from a fencing standpoint, right? So I'm thinking about this. This is exactly how you actually do like sword fighting with a very lightweight sword like a lightsaber would be. You're in a good guard position. You're ready to either block or attack in equal like ease. And they do this thing where Cere very, very calmly moves her blade to the other side of Vader's. And then Vader moves his blade very calmly to the other side of Cere's. And then Cere beats his blade like one little beat and then lunges in for him. And then it goes back to the actual, like, you're controlling the fight. And it's such a perfectly choreographed swordsmanship.
As someone who's a longsword fighter, I refer to this as sword chess.
Yes.
Because whole lot of like the drills that I do with my student are like we'll take guards against each other. We have one strike to try and kill the opponent.
Exactly. It's and it makes sense that this would be the fight to have this perfect swordsmanship, where it's between Cere Junda, this Jedi master who is like, you know, we know that she's incredibly skilled. We know that she's incredibly like adept with what she does. And Darth Vader, there is no better place in these games to have this perfect swordsmanship happening.
Then to have people,
and it makes me so happy to see that. They put so much thought into that fight.
Faye, if you have not watched it, look it up. It's incredible.
It's a really good fight.
Yeah.
Eventually, I just need to do like an all cutscenes watch.
Yeah. The Cere and Vader fight is really good.
Yeah.
She
but
wipes
like, just
the
in
floor
general,
with him.
Yeah. It's basically, it comes down to like he is Darth Vader and he will not stop. That's really just how he wins.
Too angry.
But like beyond even that, because I have to point that out because
it's a great fight.
Love that.
Yeah.
But like every fight with Dagan Gera, the fight with Ravis, the end game fights, they're all so good. They're all like
So
yeah.
They understand how to actually do a sword fight.
They understand how to actually do a sword fight, and they understand how to use the move set that they've constructed for him really well.
And that's like the opposite of Kingdom Come Deliverance, for example, where like they have overworked their fighting so to the point where like I fight with swords all the time. I cannot do combat in the game because they have over and exaggerated every single movement that throws off reaction time.
Yeah.
Mandy, your thoughts on Jedi Survivor?
Yeah, so I am a big person when it comes to story in video games. Specifically Star Wars. My first Star Wars video game I ever played was Knights of the Old Republic, so story is very important to me, and Jedi Survivor story is just phenomenal. The High Republic ties in, the overall story arc of Cal having to deal with his dark demons, basically, and trying to overcome that easy temptation it is to go into it. It's just, my favorite part of the whole game is that level when he's infiltrating, the Inquisitor base, and not Inquisitor base.
The ISB base.
The ISB base, yeah. And he is just, he just finally just gives into it. And just that moment, it's just like, because as the player, Cal is the good guy. And it's such a struggle to be playing him doing these bad things. Like, it is hard because you're like, no, Cal, you're the good guy. You're the Jedi Knight. You're, you're this, you're that. And to be using these dark force powers and like slamming people up against walls and like, it's just, it's not him. And that game design, that whole level to me is just phenomenal that you get to actually feel the struggle. The player gets to feel the struggle with Cal. That, it's the easier path. And you're a badass in combat. And that you're just wiping the floor of everything. But there's this also sense of, no, Cal, you're better than this. Better than this. And you're constantly thinking of what Seer would think. Like, what she would think. Would she want Cal to be doing this? This is not the path. Because she struggled with her own darkness and warned him. Yeah. So it's like that whole level, I think, is just top-notch gaming. And I actually replayed that game. I played it one time and then I replayed it again, and I just wanted to play that section again because it just hit me so much emotionally, physically. I've never felt such emotion in a section of a game as I did that part where it was like everything was affecting you.
Yeah.
And I hope the next Star Wars games we see have that emotional impact into your gaming as well, and story, design, everything.
So I will say this, right before that sequence with Cal, in the ISB base, we do get one of the quickest boss fights in the game, and that's with Rick the door technician.
Yes,
which is the best comic relief in that game by far. And I think it's perfectly placed because of what you're about to do in that game.
I think Rick the door technician was right before the Dagan Gera final fight.
Yeah, that's before the Dagan Gera.
Yeah.
Not
sorry. I was like one step ahead.
No, because
it's in the ISB.
Yeah, but what I'm talking about with Cal is him chasing after Leah, do you remember his name?
It was the ISB guy. Yeah.
Yeah, Rick was in the base on Kobo, not the one on the ice moon.
That's right.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, before Cal goes like crazy. Is that when
Rick
he's in the apartment of Bode?
Nick the floor.
Yes, he's in Bode's apartment.
Yeah, before he goes crazy. Yep.
Nick the floor monitor.
Oh, that was so.
Yeah.
And then I will say, There's another sequence in that game that had my heart racing and I had fist pumping action. And that's the drill fight on Jeddah with Marin and the portals.
Oh, yes, the
Oh.
portals. Yes. Oh, that's fantastic.
You pretty much go through stargates
Yeah.
as Cal Kestis, like trying to take out this drill. It's amazing.
It's amazing. It is such phenomenal gameplay, cutscenes, animation.
And
It's
the
just
emotions.
amazing. Yeah.
Oh man, because like
Was that for me, or was that for luck? That was for me.
Yeah. Like Marin and Cal kiss, and he goes, "Is that for luck?" And she goes, "No, that's for me." And then I'm just like, "Yes,
Valid.
let's go!"
Valid.
Yes.
Oh.
When they kissed, I like cheered. I was like, "Yes, finally!"
I had to pause the game and put the controller down and sit there, like.
It's so well done. It's so well done. That whole Jeddah sequence is fantastic. In that
The whole
game.
Jedi map area, just in general, is fantastic.
Jeddah-
when you see the ruins, it's just
Jeddah's
The
so
ruins, the fallen Jedi statues, the
because now I'm like, I know how that got there.
Yeah.
Hi, Pickle.
And
Hi, buddy.
and like it was so
Wait,
perfectly timed that we got Jedi Survivor and everything happening on Jeddah there right after Phase 2 of the High Republic and everything that happened on Jeddah there. It's like Jeddah.
Yeah.
So like
that's
some
where
people,
Maddie lives.
And some people are like, so why are we focused on Jeddah? And I was like, how much time do you have?
Yeah.
How much time do you
So
have?
much time.
How many books are you willing to read?
Yeah.
How far down this rabbit hole do you want to go?
So
like comic books?
250 years
like
ago.
Yeah. It goes back to the whole faith thing.
370 years earlier.
Yeah.
370 years before the Skywalker saga.
Yeah.
We go to a little moon called Jeddah.
Here's our grumpy old man, and he's followed around by a chipper young Padawan.
And don't forget his on and off again, will they, won't they boyfriend.
We got proof of them kissing, and that's what I'm holding on to.
We did. But they're will they, won't they. So funny thing about Jedi Survivor, we had Justina Ireland at our AwesomeCon panel last year.
Yeah.
And we talked about Jedi Survivor. The High Republic authors did not know they were going to go that. They did not know they were going into the High Republic.
They didn't know at all. Really?
Yeah. And
wow.
Justina was like, I was so surprised that they went High Republic. And she said they absolutely nailed it.
Yeah.
The vibe, the art, the
architecture,
the costumes,
High Republic buildings and stuff like that.
Yeah. She was so happy. She was so happy with the way that they nailed it.
Yeah.
And God, it's such a special game. And honestly, I think it's better than Fallen Order. Honestly, I do think
so too. Yeah, I think it's better. I mean, I did really enjoy Trilla as a villain in the first game.
Oh, me too. I love Trilla.
Great menace. The problem with Jedi Survivor is the villain isn't fully revealed until way late in the game.
Yeah,
unlike with
that's true.
Jedi Fallen Order, where you're introduced bam with Trilla right away, and she's constantly stalking you. Yeah. While in this game, you kind of feel a little bit safer, like a little bit of a safety net until boom, that reveal. But that's much late in the game.
But the thing is that now that I've replayed it, they kind of lay the breadcrumbs a little bit early in the game.
They do, yeah. It's just you don't notice it the first time. Yeah.
Because there's a cutscene that looks like a glitch in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like they have the map, and then Cal tells Bode to hold on to the map, and then Bode reaches for it, and then you see it go up into his hand, and we're like, was that a glitch? And then
exactly.
Like, you
or you're too busy looking at what Cal's doing in the cutscene. You're too busy looking at what.
Exactly. You're not paying attention. Like I don't even think I paid attention to Bode's hand. I think I was paying too much attention to Cal.
Yeah.
What he was doing in that cutscene.
But when you see him pick it up, like it's clearly the Force, and I was just like, that's got to be a glitch. And then replaying it, I was like, oh no, this guy's using the Force.
Yeah.
I also think that it works really well. Like yes, there isn't the like set antagonist right from the start, like there is with Fallen Order, but I think that works because like it's really a game where the thing that you're fighting against is Cal's dark side. You're fighting against a Jedi who has become so focused on
bringing down the Empire.
bringing back some form of the Order, bringing down the Empire, that he has fallen to the dark side. You are fighting someone who has given up everything to protect the people that he loves.
Yeah, exactly.
And
like
that's the difference, because we're introduced to these characters in Fallen Order, so it's a lot of getting used to them.
Yeah,
right.
Battle Scars is leading into we are focusing in on these internal arcs here.
Exactly. And I like that Battle Scars gave us Marins, so then they could focus on Cal's in the game.
Jedi Survivor,
And then I will also say this. Survivor does a great job of tying up the loose ends from Battle Scars.
Yeah.
Like it does a really good job with it.
Like all of that, yeah.
And another thing is that if you didn't read Battle Scars, it's not lost on you. They actually really explain like what happened.
They talk about how Cal blames himself for what happened to Grease and all that.
Yeah, exactly.
And honestly, like if Fallen Order is A New Hope, this is Empire Strikes Back.
This is Empire Strikes Back,
and it ends kind of in that Empire Strikes Back way.
It does.
It really does. There's hope. But it's
also
it's a Pyrrhic victory.
Yeah.
So
I mean, there is hope, but there's been so much lost. And
that
everything.
means Jedi 3 is going to be Return of
the Jedi.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the thing, though. This is the thing that I have a question with. Do you guys think that they are going to kill Cal off or not? Like, do you think he's going to make it through? Because I think that would be
a gutsy way to end the series. I would go. I would love it. I think that would be a crazy way to end the series. Yeah, I know for a fact that most people would be pissed off if it ended like that.
I mean, to me, I kind of think it would be. I don't know what the word I'm using, but I think it would be the way that makes most sense with the events later on in Star Wars.
I want to get Faye's thoughts and then I'll weigh in.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think they will. I really don't think that they will. I don't think that they're gutsy enough to do that.
I don't know well either.
They're gonna have to find a way to explain why we don't see his participation later on. And that's probably gonna be by giving him some other quest that is not relating as closely to the Empire, I think. I do think, depending on how they handle his internal arc, it would be a really like fun thing to do. But I don't think that they're gonna kill him.
No.
I think that he is gonna end up with some other like side quests in the grand scheme of things that leads him away from where the other like main protagonists are towards the fall of the Empire, so that way we don't have to worry about explaining why we don't see him in certain pieces of media.
Yeah, I can see them having him go off on a quest like Cordova off into the unknown regions,
or something.
Locking up on Tanalorr to focus on
maybe
something there
into the Zepho or something.
So I can definitely see him taking on the Eno Cordova role. Especially because Seer took on the Eno Cordova role. As well. So like I can see her like passing that down to him, like visiting him as a Force ghost and like passing that down to him. Like, I think that would be really fun.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to be going and finding Exegol, considering.
No.
No, I don't think he'll be doing that.
Yeah,
No.
especially considering the search for Exegol being such a main focus of
It's, Rise
of
Skywalker.
Like it's not going to be a thing because Luke and Lando end up getting swept up in a whole other search for Exegol.
So I could see them. I could definitely see him doing stuff with the Zepho and trying to find a way to Parita. Like that would be a fun way to tie it in. Because you could also send him into the unknown regions as well to like look for the Zepho. You could have him encounter the Chiss in the unknown regions as well. Well, you can't do Thrawn at that point.
No,
Thrawn will have already been exiled.
Thrawn's in the Empire already. However,
depending on how
exiled.
However, depending on how long the time gap is, you could have Eli Vanto.
Oh my god, I would love
you could have Eli Vanto.
my country boy Eli Vanto.
The country boy.
Eli Vanto.
Eli Vanto.
I think it could very much be a thing of he could be looking for, like, depending on when this game comes out, they could want to tie it into like the Rey's New Jedi Order, have him be like looking for something that is relevant to that movie. I think that would be an interesting way for them to tie it in.
You could even have Rey maybe even encounter an old Cal Kestis out there with the Zepho stuff.
Well,
you never know. I mean, that would be awesome.
Well, also
Old
keep in mind
Cal.
one of the storylines they scrapped for Resistance was Ventress was going to be in the show. As an old lady. So technically you could do Cal as an old man in that era. I could also see them going the Daniel Craig James Bond route where they do kill him because
I think it would be brave. I would respect so much if they did that.
It would be very brave. And I think, I mean, I don't know how you feel, but I feel like sometimes Lucasfilm is a bit scared to do that, like kill somebody, like permanently kill.
Yeah.
So I think it would be interesting to actually do that and actually permanently.
I want to see it happen now because I want to see how it would go down.
Exactly.
Same.
We haven't really had it. I mean, even with, is everybody caught up with Bad Batch on here?
Yeah.
Okay. Even with Tech, it's still ambiguous.
Yeah.
So I mean, somebody to be permanently dead would be rather interesting to do.
Though I fully believe that Tech is dead. I don't get my hopes up with characters.
I also believe that.
I think he's now dead because I think he would have been revealed by now. But
we did believe Burry was dead for a very long time. We did.
Yeah.
But I would love to see, like, either way, Cal's gonna get the ending Cal deserves.
Yes, regardless.
In those games. I could see him dying. I could see him not dying.
It's a
either
50-50
way,
kind of thing.
it is a 50-50. I hope they just don't do like the whole you gotta vote for this thing like they did with whether or not Jason Todd lived or died back in the 90s.
Yes. Hopefully no voting.
The only good thing that has come out of that is the parody of that whole thing in Holy Musical Batman.
Yeah.
I mean, I will say this: Jason Todd's death is amazing.
It is amazing. It is amazing. Yes.
But then again, that's a character that died and then came back.
That's the problem. To see the thing that I think would be really interesting from a story perspective is just if he did not make it, died, because then it would be another Jedi that has fallen to the Empire, which we know happened.
I could also see him dying, but then Marin taking up the mantle.
Yeah, I can see that too.
Yeah. Anyway, let's move on to our main topic. A little book came out about 3 years ago. We miss tech too, John. We miss tech
We
too.
miss that.
A little book came out 3 years ago that kicked off this wonderful era, known as the Woke Republic, depending on
Woke Republic.
who you talk
The
to.
woke republic will make you gay.
Yeah. Or
Hey,
question
it
things.
did
Or
make me gay.
trans,
I
or
was
ace,
already gay.
or
I
Or
was
bi.
it did trans my gender.
Yeah. Before we dive into this, there are very little straight people in the High Republic, and we love that. We absolutely love that. That's what you call it? No, it's not the Woke Republic. It's not the Woke Republic.
No,
It's not
John.
go woke, go broke.
John, no.
It's not. It's not. Disney's killing this thing because the numbers aren't good. If you look
Yeah.
at the numbers, the High Republic sells very well.
It
Aren't the
does.
books almost always on the New York Times bestsellers list?
And they're
Yeah.
always reprinted. I mean, if you look
Yeah.
at all of the if you look at all the comics issues, all of them have gone through multiple
Well,
reprints.
reprints,
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
In fact, one of the highest selling comics is the Phase 1 omnibus.
And
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think it's so telling of the fandom when like we have reached the point where artists who were part of the fandom are now being asked to do variant covers.
Yeah.
for the High
Isabel.
Republic.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Isabel.
Yeah.
Isabel, Ella.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's so
Very
awesome to
exciting.
see.
Yeah. So, I mean, you can't tell me that Disney's scrapping this thing when the demand is clearly there.
Yeah.
And we're getting the Acolyte, which is in the High Republic. So buckle up, buckaroo, because it's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just before we dive into Light of the Jedi and make Faye cry even more.
I don't cry in public.
You're just gonna cry into your whiskey when you watch X-Men '97. Hey, Ro.
It was great. Nice
Pizza
to
was
hear
great.
that.
Pizza was great. Which quick side note, we are gonna do a full X-Men '97 recap after the season ends. So
Yes.
stay tuned for that. Which Mandy, we may or may not bring you on for that. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
the 97, yes.
Anyway, so yeah, this era is alive and well. The only negative that we have gotten from this era really is a game that was announced that a lot of people have boycotted. I'm not going to talk about that game because I do not want to talk about that game.
I think it's been quietly shelved.
Oh, I think so too.
Yeah.
I think so too. What do you want to see next in the High Republic in terms of media? I want an MMORPG video game or retelling of the phases, really any kind of video game.
Yes.
MMORPG sounds fantastic. I
It
mean,
would be
the
really
Old
fun to see an
Republic,
RPG version.
the Old Republic MMORPG is fantastic. So I think doing a High Republic one would be a lot of fun too.
There's such a variety of like character types that you can play in the High Republic era.
So rumor is there's a rumor, and I'm not going to say who this is from because I'm going to protect this source that I trust. ZeniMax Online may be working on a Star Wars project. Maybe.
That would be exciting to hear about.
Maybe.
It is happening.
And I'm saying that loosely because we don't really know yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've heard of that rumor before, and I think if anybody were to make it, they would be perfect for it.
Yes. In terms of High Republic and media, give me more TV shows and movies.
Yeah. I also
ZeniMax is a game developer here in Maryland.
It's under the Bethesda umbrella.
Yes, they're under the Bethesda Xbox umbrella.
And
I think it's the other way around. But yeah.
Yeah, the Xbox Bethesda umbrella.
High Republic media that I would like to see, the Marta Rowe short story kind of rewrote my brain. I want more ever any.
That was.
I just want more Tessa Gratton. I love the way that they write.
But also, the Evereni are so conceptually. It is genuinely the snowballing of generational trauma.
Well, that and I felt like I was getting like the Joker's origin story like all over again, kind of.
Yeah.
I love the Rose. The Rose are such interesting antagonists because you understand where they're coming from.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's also like, it really all goes back to one woman being incredibly petty and ruining a family forever.
Yes.
Yeah.
I will also say this, because we're about to hop into Marky on Row. This is great. The best villains are the ones that you can sympathize with, and the Rose you can definitely sympathize with.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Because the Rose are just trying to find themselves.
At least they were at first.
Okay, Mandy.
I actually have to run, so I will catch you all later. It's been great
All right.
talking Star
Yeah.
Wars and all the comics with
Be
you.
safe, have
So-
fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mandy,
Alright,
I'll message you later, all right?
Okay, all right,
Yeah.
sounds good. Bye.
Sounds good.
See
Bye.
ya.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the Rose. Dang, I really need to read the High Republic.
Yes,
you do.
do.
You do.
I've been telling you this for
Join
years,
us.
John.
Join us.
Join us.
Join us.
Join us. One
like,
of us. One.
The Rose in general, like, there's a reason why I picked to play a Row from the Old Republic in a Star Wars RPG.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's because it was so fun to have the ability to essentially start at it's very fun to see the start of the family downslide because essentially there's before we found out when the actual planet of Everon fell.
When the exodus from Everon was.
So instead I was like, oh yes, this happened in the Old Republic, so that way they could build their reputation. So this is like the first generation that did not grow up on Everon.
Mhm.
Right.
So I could start the downward spiral.
So
Very fun to do.
take it away. I gotta step out just real quick. I will be right back, but you take it away with your thoughts on Light of the Jedi. And
Light of the Jedi.
Jumping into it, and I will be right back. Because John hasn't read the High Republic yet.
Fairly spoiler light.
Yeah. Keep it spoiler light.
Spoiler light.
Yeah.
There will be spoilers, but
absolutely. It's Star Wars.
The Light of the Jedi was the first Star Wars book I ever read. So it was very fun jumping into it. It's a very cinematic book. It's jumping all over the place in point of view to be able to enhance the real core of the story, which is ultimately, and a lot of the mainline Star Wars like adult novels are this. It is a disaster movie at its core.
Very much.
Like Valo, Fallen Star, all of them are disaster movies. So we're all in different types of disasters. And I like that it takes this kind of iconic but not really well understood piece of Star Wars lore with hyperspace and hyperspace lanes. And it's like, let's show you what happens when something goes wrong.
Like, remember in A New Hope when Han Solo was like, if we don't get the calculations right, we could slam into a planet or fly right through a supernova. This is what happens if you don't get the calculations right.
Yeah.
This is what happens.
This is what happens. And it's good
so
introduction to that.
I remember, because I had already been reading Star Wars books before this. I was reading Legends books back when they were the EU, and then I was reading canon books. So I remember reading like a preview of Light of the Jedi that was just the very opening prologue with Hedda Cassett.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, oh, I'm really liking this kind of vibe. This like, oh yeah, the Republic is powerful and it's uniting the galaxy. What just happened to her? She exploded.
Yeah.
And I think as much as I kind of go back and forth on some of the prose choices, I really think that for such a cinematic book, having a comic forward writer writing it worked really well.
Yeah.
Someone who thinks very visually, someone who thinks about stories in a very visual way was really good for this book.
Yes.
Oh, it really is. It sold like that prologue. I was reading it at work and I was just like, oh yes, I'm just going to close my work order program for a minute and keep reading.
Yeah. I remember I was reading it in like the courtyard of my dorm building.
Yeah.
And I was reading it and I got to the end and I just had to sit there. And then my friend came out and was like, "You've been sitting out here just staring into space for a while. What's up?" And I was like, "I'm feeling things about Star Wars."
Yeah.
And he was like,
It's
"Really?"
it's such and like the Great Disaster as a like plot piece, as a story, is such a really good way to start off the High Republic because it can lead to so many more it led to so many more things. And there's a reason why I took my I used a Great Disaster story as the way to get my friends into the High Republic when because I ran a High Republic one shot in the Great Disaster.
Yeah.
It was a very fun way to because only one of my friends had started reading Light of the Jedi, and so as soon as I mentioned Hetzel, they went, "Oh no!"
Oh no! Yeah.
I will say I want to call it the Steady Wing because that's another disaster that we have. The Legacy Run disaster gets me every time. Every time.
Oh yeah.
It's so
yes.
from the very start, from
Absolutely.
Hedekasset to the "We Will Move It."
Oh yeah.
"We Will Move It" is one of the iconic Jedi moments for me.
Yeah.
Like, "We will move it. I am a Jedi. I'm a Jedi like my father before me."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The Great Hyperspace Disaster is ultimately we're presented the High Republic as a Gilded Age, and
Yes.
the Hyperspace Disaster is a really good way to show how thin that layer of gilding can be.
Exactly.
But we really start to see the downfall of the Jedi later on.
Yeah.
I would think that the Kerr Nebula is where you really see this is how we end up with the prequels, because the Jedi handle the initial part of the Great Disaster. They handled the crisis on Hetzel remarkably well.
Oh, it's brilliant.
Oh yeah.
And it's such a good introduction to Avar Kriss. Like, it immediately sold me on Avar Kriss.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I will also say the first third of that book, seeing just the way Charles builds the tension in the first third of that book to when we get to the end of that third, and having the Jedi have like that Avengers-esque moment.
Mm-hmm.
It's just really cool because not only do you just start rooting for Avar, but Burry comes out of nowhere and surprises the hell out of you because he's so damn good. Burry's master is another one that really surprised me too.
Nib-Asik.
Yes, Nib-Asik. Not to mention you have Joss and Pika, who are in later stories,
and they're just normal guys who are just
they're just normal people.
But I loved their point of view so much.
I love them.
I love
because we need we need an everyman. We need a normal person.
I will also say the guy that aided on the space station that was debating on asking the girl out.
Oh yeah. I I like that segment every time because it also is like, oh yes, we're expanding the Republic, and so there are these. I
Hey,
really
Joey.
hey. I really like his like. Am I gonna ask Miss Twi'lek out? Is she gonna want to go out with me? Like, first of all, don't. She's a service industry worker. She's not flirting with you. She's just being nice.
she just wants the tips.
She
She's
just
not
wants the
paid
tips.
enough.
But also, like, it brings into this whole idea of like how new are like interspecies and like relationships in the Republic, because like the way that it's presented, it's like not super common, and we have very few examples of them.
Yeah.
So like it's nice to see that.
For all we know, Jackie in the Acolyte could be like one of the early half Thelan, half humans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Joey has read Light of the Jedi. Joey has read Light of the Jedi. So
John has too.
John has too. Yeah. John and I had some discussions about that book. They were good though. But I just love the first third of that book. I love the pacing of it. Because it makes that slowdown in the second third like really worth it, and like you catch your breath. Plus that middle portion of the book has one of my favorite comedic bits in all of Star Wars, and that is literally Loading Greatstorm kicking Bell Zettifar off of a cliff.
Yeah.
To try to get him. Yes, Bell Zettifal.
Bell Zettifal.
And then we're
introduces us to Ember.
Who doesn't love Fire Dog?
Ember is our collective emotional support dog.
She is.
I love that is actually the role that she serves in the books.
Yeah.
And I love that she is one of the only High Republic characters who has been adapted to animation.
Twice.
There are very few High Republic characters who have been adapted to another, like, to a, to a show medium.
Because she's in Young Jedi Adventures, but then she's also in Galaxy of Creatures.
Yeah. It's very fun. Also, I got my sword teacher to start reading the books. They're only reading the adult novels,
which is fine.
Yeah, that's totally fine. I was just like, you don't need to read all of them. I do, but like, you don't need to.
I do, but I'm insane. So
yeah, I've read every
Geodar
Star Wars
rock.
novel. So
You're damn right it does, Joey. You're damn right. Sorry.
Yes, Geodar's our support rock. But every time that they finish reading a book, they're just like, and the doggo is still present. And I was just like, yes.
The doggo makes it.
The doggo makes it.
I didn't mean to interrupt you, Faye. I really didn't.
No, I get
it. But yes, Geode is our support rock. Plus, Geode is a hero.
Geode is a hero.
Give a salute to our troops. The troops are Geode.
Yes. But I will say, like, the perfect example of Ember being the support animal definitely happens with Belle, like, throughout the adult novels.
Yeah.
But I love Ember being by Belle's master in The Fallen Star, like by the bed. When Belle's trying to do the stuff on Starlight Beacon to try to like save Starlight Beacon. And I was just so happy that Ember escaped with Belle. But yeah, Belle, God, Belle is such a great character, and just the journey he goes on. Also, Loden Greatstorm is amazing too. And then we're introduced to the Santekas, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And they may or may not be living in a certain house at a certain lake on a certain planet.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows?
We also get introduced to Kevin Tarr, who like I like that quiet little engineer. I like
Kevin
a guy
Tarr's
who does
great.
math.
Yeah. Kevin Tarr is
Every
great.
time that we see him, I'm like, yeah.
Kevin Tarr is awesome. And I love that they actually like try to use practical solutions to stop the disaster.
They really do. It's so good.
Hmm
Like,
And
yes.
then we get to the final third, which is pretty much an emotional roller coaster ride, and also some of the best action sequences that we've ever gotten in Star
Yeah.
Wars media.
Yeah.
The Battle of the Kur Nebula, so good.
There's something about the sickly green cast that the Nebula the Nebula puts on everything that like
Mhm.
is foreshadowing for the destruction that is about to be wrought
Yep.
upon everyone. Because
Mhm.
it's not just the Jedi; they're basically kamikazed with against their will in the Nile.
So the green also reminds me of the end of Star Trek Nemesis when they're in that nebula as well.
Yeah.
And like they kind of have like that whole run silent, run deep
Mhm.
submarine type deal. Yeah, like that reminds me of that. But
It's
yeah,
beautiful. Like I could see exactly what was happening, and I'm not a very
Mhm.
visual person.
hmm
I was just like, ah, yes, Wet Bob is there. He seems dead.
Charles, R.I.P. Wet Bub.
R.I.P.
You were a
Wet
real
Bob.
one. You
You
were a
were
real
a
one.
real one.
You were a real one, my friend. Um, but I will say Charles does a great job of like just
Yeah,
laying out the scene, laying out the tone and
yeah,
everything. Just like Cavan does. Cavan does a great
Hmm.
job at that
he
too.
does. Yeah.
Um, and
Ugh.
just that fight. Also Jedi Vectors are my favorite starfighters now,
Oh yeah, because
just because of how awesome.
they're really awesome, and it's so like they're built for the Jedi in the fact
hmm
that they are meant for Jedi reflexes and Jedi like abilities,
Like you
and
need the Force to fly it
Yeah.
properly.
genuinely, they are so like low everything. Low armor, low cutting. They're just like, hello. You have
So
to be
It's
a Jedi
it's
to
high
ride.
speed, high impact.
they're literally flying space pod racers.
They're flying
Yeah.
lightsabers.
Yeah, they're flying lightsabers. I will say, going to Vectors, two things. One was an observation. Um, every author writes straight fires. Also,
Yeah,
Vectors are cool as heck.
absolutely.
Yeah, they are. But one observation I had, when I was watching Young Jedi Adventures yesterday. It's the sequence with the band that had to get back together,
Oh yeah.
and like they knock on the kid's door, and the kid comes out, and he's playing with a wooden
With a
vector.
little toy vector.
I like point. I did the DiCaprio point thing from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and my wife's like, "What are you pointing at?" And I'm like, "It's a vector. It's a vector. He's playing with a vector." Like I was done. It was the
Uh,
best episode ever.
Yeah.
And then I love I get Voltron vibes with the vectors because like they have to plug in their lightsabers
Yeah.
to like activate the weapons. And I remember in Voltron, like they had to plug in the keys to like activate like the special weapons in the Lions and on Voltron. So
That's kind of a mech thing, but I like it because
it very much harkens to like plugging in the keys to launch the nukes and such.
oh yeah.
it,
Oh yeah.
it shows that there has to be a depth of thought, and
Imagine a
You have
Voltron.
to consciously choose to plug
Yeah.
your lightsaber
Mhm.
in.
Yeah.
yeah,
And that's why actually when you see vector combat, a lot of Jedi still do not fire their weapons. They're still trying to figure out a peaceful
It's
way
a
of
lot
doing
of the maneuvering and the
yeah.
redirecting.
Mhm.
It's all maneuvering, which is like I'm
Which
going to bring in Christian Cameron here a little bit, and the fact that like Wars are won not with combat, but with maneuvering and money.
I mean,
Very much.
It's pretty much like all the Jedi went to Top Gun fighter school.
Yeah. And bringing in the maneuvering, you know the reason why the Nihil did so good against the Jedi for such a long time?
Because they could outmaneuver anyone.
Yes, because we didn't know who the leader was until phase 3.
Yeah. And then once phase 3 happens, he has already deflected the immediate focus onto other people.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's like, you don't need to think about Markion Ro. He's just hanging out on Hetzal. You need to worry about Admiral V's. You need to worry about General V's. You need to worry about Baron Bulin.
Oh, Gira Staros too. Like you need
to worry about Gira Staros. He's just hanging back. He's just hanging back and executing the occasional Jedi. Whatever.
He's the puppet master.
Yeah, because he cannot. It's like he's aware that he cannot actually beat them unless they have a different person to mess with.
Yep. He can't beat them when they're focused on him.
Yeah. He can't actually outmaneuver them because his cards are too obvious.
So part of me thinks like Palpatine knew about Markion Ro and kind of like adapted part of that mentality.
I would think so.
Yeah. Because like that's the only way Palpatine wins in the prequels is he outmaneuvers everybody by distracting them.
He plays them off each other.
Yeah, especially like with General Grievous and Count Dooku and all of that. John, going back to imagine a Voltron but with vectors, yes please. I would watch that any day.
And talking about vectors, which this is kind of jumping around, but I did notice in the trailer that we got for the Acolyte that it looks more like the Delta starfighters, like we saw in the prequels, than the vectors, which makes me think like, oh, we're kind of getting that phase out, that phase in of the new technology.
Yeah, well, we're already starting to see that with like they've already talked about how they can't do the like super
fancy lightsabers,
and so like it's nice to see that same thing happen with the starships because now these need to be able to use by other people as well because we're starting to militarize.
Speaking of lightsabers. Light of the Jedi, the first part of it, gives us a use of a lightsaber as something other than a weapon.
Yeah.
With Avar Kriss using it as a meditation aid.
I love that bit so much when she's spinning it.
When it's spinning?
Yeah. And
perfect. I love that.
And we get the meditation on a kyber crystal as like a way to explore your knowledge of the Force.
Yeah.
Your Mali, and just for fun, purifying blood crystal.
Honestly, the High Republic has given us so many interesting meditations with the Jedi. There's the lightsaber meditation, there's like lightsaber forms meditation, there's Kyber Arch, there's Gella's aerial walk.
Yeah.
Well, there's also Salandra Show not using her lightsaber unless she absolutely has to when she uses
using her shield.
There are other actually good crossguard lightsabers that are not just Stellan Gios's. There are several other characters have crossguards. It's just that's the one that got commercially remade.
Yeah, he's the big one.
Which I want.
I want it so bad.
I mean, my wife did get me a 3D printed one, which is really awesome. But
I like that the crossguard became so iconic of the High Republic that it made its way into Survivor.
Yeah.
Well, the crossguard, like even Mike Siglain, when they did that video about the High Republic, like when they first pitched it, like when we got the reveal trailer, he talked about how it really was like this Arthurian Camelot type legend in Star Wars.
I could go on and on about how they leaned a lot more into like European costuming traditions for some of the Jedi outfits.
Oh yeah.
How the tabards are much more European in style than the very Japanese, which I love as well. That you see in the prequels. Like they still have obviously the Japanese influence very strongly, but there's a lot more of the other influences are also working their way in there, which I appreciated. I think it's great to have a variety of.
Yeah, and I'm a big fan of actually good crossguard sabers as a longsword fighter.
Well, I will also say I love that they lean into the mythology of Camelot and medieval mythology, but I also love that they kind of do that romanticization of the Old West too, where the Jedi on the frontier are like the marshals and the deputies, and their outposts are those marshal offices.
It's what George would have wanted.
It really is what George would have wanted.
I think absolutely. And I think they did a really good job. And this is already right there in Light of the Jedi, that the Jedi are kind of at their best when they're spread out and able to act on immediate local problems. Like the people getting attacked on Elfrona would have had absolutely zero chance if the Jedi had to dispatch from Coruscant.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, and that also goes back to some of the stuff that we saw in the prequels with a lot of the Jedi doing border disputes and stuff like that.
They're handling local problems, but only government local problems.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They're not handling day-to-day people.
The local problems are ultimately once they stopped handling those, that's when the Jedi started to fall.
Mm-hmm.
And this is why this ties in really good into the Living Force, which
I was gonna say,
because Qui-Gon's urge of help someone,
help one person,
and they do that.
Mm-hmm. And that's why I love this era, because you're seeing how selfless the Jedi really are.
Mm-hmm.
You're seeing them lay down their lives for their fellow being, because that person is just as important, if not more important, than that Jedi.
That is what is right.
Yeah. And I love that they show, and you get this right away in Phase 1, that they're working with the Republic, absolutely.
Yeah.
But they're not working for the Republic. And sometimes, especially Avar Kriss in Phase 1 with the Hutts, they are working counter to what the Republic wants.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But they're working for the good of the Republic.
They're working for the people, and it just happens to be that most of the people in the galaxy live in the Republic.
Yeah. And I love that the Jedi are separate from the Republic, and that they don't answer to anybody but the High Council.
It is one of the reasons why a lot of us a lot of us Jedi fans love the High Republic, because it's what the Jedi are supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
even then, they don't always answer to the council. You have your way seekers, you have your individual marshals, you have your non-way seeker Jedi who still feel free to be like, no, I do not think that this is the right path. I'm going to stay in the Outer Rim. I'm going to
and we're seeing that in Phase 3, especially with Defy the Storm. You see that with Vernestra. But I will also say that when it comes to not fully reporting to the council, how many times Avar Kriss, as Marshal of Starlight, disobeyed what Stellan and the rest of the council were asking her to do,
because so much that she lost her job.
Yeah, because she's pretty much giving him the finger and saying, no, I'm going to do it this way because this is how it needs to be done.
Yeah.
It's kind of like when you work in a job, and then somebody from corporate comes in and tries to tell you how to do your job, and they've never done
That's exactly what it is.
That's exactly what that situation is, where Avar is just no, you have no idea what I'm doing out here.
Yeah, you really do.
Yeah.
And we kind of get that right from the start with the Jedi are mostly handling things without the Council's intercession in Light of the Jedi.
Yeah.
The Council, they pop up now and again, but it's mostly Avar and Elzar and the Alfrona outpost handling their own things, and they don't have to bounce it off of the council. They don't have to.
The council gets involved for like, okay, are we going to help assist at the Battle of Kurth?
Like the council gets involved for like the entire Outer Rim is on fire.
Yeah.
That's maybe a problem we should think about.
Yeah.
But it's not until like the Steady Wing happens. It's not until like the Drengir threat rises that the council's finally like, oh, maybe we should have gotten involved.
Yeah.
You think?
Yeah, it's not until there's 6 problems at once where they're like, maybe we should do a little extra.
And don't get me started on Valo, because that was a disaster when it comes to the council.
Valo is... we're supposed to be talking about Light of the Jedi, but Valo is... so many things had to go wrong for Valo to happen.
Yeah.
And I feel like Valo was very indicative of those seeds that are planted of like, this is where things are going.
Yeah.
The Jedi and the Republic are too caught up in thinking about the Republic as already this set thing to consider the fact that, no, it is very much a thing that is constantly in flux. It is a grouping of people. It is not a stone pillar that cannot be changed.
Yeah, and that's why I always count the beginning of the decline of the Jedi as like after
the Kerr Nebula.
Yeah. It's got to be the Kerr, because that's when we start to see things go wrong.
And that's when they become very militarized as well.
Yeah.
Like in that.
Absolutely. Because when they're going into the Kerr Nebula, they're talking about like, this is crazy. We have never mobilized this many Jedi in a like fighting stance. We're not used to, like, we work with the RDC occasionally, but not like this.
And this is why it's fun to have the contrast between that and then the Battle of Dalna, for example. Because like that was like a bunch of Jedi happened to be there, not anything else.
Right. Like Dalna, Jedi, they just happened to be that the Jedi all showed up there.
Yeah.
Whereas Kerr and then all the way to like Geonosis, no, the Jedi are sent there as a military force.
Yeah. And it's really the militarization of the Jedi that caused their downfall, and this is something that I have maintained since I watched the prequels.
Yeah, I will agree with all of that. It's just it's one of those stories where you really start, the more you revisit it, the more you start to see the writing on the wall.
Yeah.
And Charles does a great job at, once again, laying the breadcrumbs. And
like if I go into another Yora Mali tangent, like one of those is Yora Mali, who is a Jedi that it's a lot like Avar Kriss, does not listen to the Order, is fairly like, she's a member of the council and is like, has the vibes of like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do this because it's what I think is the right thing to do, does not consult with the council. And it's kind of like one of those figures of the Jedi that would not survive in the militarized Jedi Order, despite her being one of the people who is for that, is not built for it.
I just think it's funny, like Yora Mali, and I said this last week, but I'll say it again. Yora Mali reminds me of Nick Fury in the Avengers movie. That's like, yeah, I recognize you've made a decision, but it's stupid, so I'm going to elect to ignore it.
Like, that really is her vibe, and because of that, she's not built for what the Jedi Order is going to become, and that's why we see her. We have this strong impression from the council meeting and from the introduction chapters of Into the Dark, and then she dies because she's not ready for it.
Well, and I also feel like Qui-Gon was the same way. Qui-Gon
would have thrived in the High Republic.
Oh,
he really would have. And I think Qui-Gon is a great counterpoint to Yora Mali, where like Yora Mali is very much on the council. She's only leaving the council because she's literally physically leaving the location where the council meets.
Yeah.
But it's never seen as like a problem that she disagrees with the council on pretty much everything.
Yeah.
It's seen as, in fact, like a good thing. Like, she is this other voice. Whereas when you see them considering Qui-Gon for the council in Master and Apprentice, it's like it's very edge case that they're letting him in. They're just like, well, you know,
like, why are we letting this guy in? Like,
yeah,
he's arguing with us all the time. Like, the council at that point wanted a yes man, and Qui-Gon is not a yes man.
He is not a yes man, and gee, we see that again in the Living Force, where, like, since Qui-Gon is not a yes man, and he was basically going to the council with a "Hey, y'all are being stupid" line, he ran everything he said past Yoda first, and then was like, "Okay, I've got Yoda on my side. Great, I'm gonna go in."
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's Light of the Jedi without us like really spoiling it.
Yeah.
It ends on a massive cliffhanger. That pissed me off in a good way.
I loved the cliffhanger.
Oh yeah.
I still listen to the album that Grishkov made, the theatrical score for the book that he made.
Grishkov's music is amazing.
I used that for the High Republic one shot I did. I found a music bot I could run through Discord that could link to Spotify, so I could have the album playing as we played.
Very nice.
It's so good.
Yeah, so that's Light of the Jedi. Charles, if you did watch this at any point, I know that you've reposted this on Threads.
Do they even? I looked into that thread when
I just want to
changing up the
say
trigger.
thank you for this book. Seriously, thank you for this book, because I'm going to say this right now. I wouldn't have met these two amazing people if it weren't for this book.
Yeah.
Seriously, I would not have met anybody in this community if it weren't for the High Republic, and I thank the High Republic every day. Seriously, I do. Yeah, Charles, thank you. Seriously, thank you. We laugh, we cry.
We scream.
We scream. We fist pump.
Yeah.
Star Wars is Spain without the S.
I thought you were about to say Star Wars is Spain without the A, and I said Star Wars.
Well, yeah, that's Avar, Chris, and Stellan Geos with their lightsabers.
Yeah, I'll try a spin. It's so quick.
That bit with Stellan and the spinning of the lightsaber.
Yeah.
So good. Yeah, that's it for us this week. No live show next week, as we're all going to be running around like chickens with our heads cut off.
Yeah,
but go ahead.
I mean, I just say check out the server or our Twitter accounts for whatever.
Yeah, let me actually post a link to the Discord. I was actually going to do that tonight, but thank you for reminding me.
Yeah.
And I will also say this. The following week, we are going to get together and talk about a little show that is ending this week, coming up. We are going to be saying goodbye to our favorite clones, the Bad Batch. I hope that you all are ready for that. If not, get ready, because it's going to be crazy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna ride an emotional roller coaster in a couple of weeks' time. So just get ready for that. Which I may be bringing on some other guests from the Star Wars community for that. Yeah, so we're going to be talking about that in a couple of weeks' time. We are also going to be talking a little bit about Tales of the Empire, so get ready for that. And we are going to have a Living Force recap here very, very soon once I finish the damn book. I'm still kind of going through this right now, so
take your time, take care of yourself.
Take your time.
And then I have another one of these to go through after that one too. So, but anyway, I am going to finish Living Force here shortly, and then we are going to talk about X-Men 97 very soon as well. That way, Faye can cry into their whiskey as we talk about deaths and characters and whether or not the Milky Way is a ghetto, according to the Shi'ar Empire.
Apparently,
the Milky Way is a ghetto. I'm going to be hanging out in voice chat in the Discord server after the show here, so please feel free to join me in there. And until next time, that's it for us. May the Force be with you. May you always fight for light and life. Leah, Faye, thank you once again for joining me. And remember, at the end of the day, we are all the Republic. Until 2 weeks from now, we'll see you soon. Bye.
May the Force be with you.
May the Force be with you.